The Bible is a collection of many books, telling one unified story from beginning to end. But all those books were written in different literary styles.
Yeah, think of it like walking into a bookstore where every aisle has a different. There's his poetry or nonfiction. And when you choose an aisle and pick up a book, you have very different expectations, different things you're looking for.
Literature, but they communicate in really different ways.
Yes, and so the same thing is true for the Bible. If you don't pay attention to what style it's written in, you will miss out on the of each book.
So, what are the main types of literature in the Bible?
Well, first and foremost is narrative. That makes up a whopping 43% of the Bible. After that is poetry of the Bible. And then there's what you could call prose discourse, which makes up the 4%.
Nearly half the Bible is narrative.
Yes, and this is no accident. Are the most universal form of human communication. Our brains are actually hardwired to take in information through stories.
And stories are really enjoyable. Why is that?
Well, stories train us of the seemingly random events that happen live by taking those events and then putting them in a sequence. And then together you can start to see the meaning and purpose of it all.
And what links this all together?
Well, good stories always have a character who wants something. And then through these characters, an author can question. It's like, who are we? Or what's really important in life? And a story always in
some challenge to overcome, just like in our own lives.
And that forces us to think about why there's so much pain or disappointment in the world, and then what can it? And stories usually end with some kind of resolution, giving us hope for our own.
Since these are Bible stories, are the characters showing me how I should?
That's not quite the point. Characters are deeply flawed. You should not be like them. We are supposed to see ourselves in them, which helps us then see our lives failure from a new perspective. And without even realizing it, these stories will start to mess with you and change how you see the world and other people, yourself.
Now, there are different types of narrative in the Bible.
Yeah, there's historical narrative, but also narrative parables, short biographical narratives like the four Gospels. We'll look at all these in later videos.
Okay, next up is poetry, which honestly, I don't read a lot of.
Yeah, you're like most people. But 1 out of every 3 chapters in the Bible is poetry.
Yeah, why so much poetry?
Well, poems mainly speak through creative language, linking together images to help us envision the world. Poems use lots of metaphor to evoke your emotions and your imagination.
Lots of fancy language. Wouldn't it be easier just to tell me what I need to know?
Well, think about it. In life, we tend to form mental ruts, and we think in these familiar, well-worn paths that are very hard to out of through logic or reasoning. And what good poetry does is force you off the familiar path to territory.
Sneaky.
And there's different types of there's lots of types of songs or psalms. There's the reflective poetry of the wisdom book.
The last big literary type is called prose discourse of the Bible.
Yeah, these are speeches, letters, or essays. And the focus here is building a sequence of ideas